Man.
Why drink the water from my hand? Contagious as you think I am. Just took my son towards your domain. You can't run it over again. Don't scream about, don't think aloud. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out.
Supra update, day 3. It's 2 o'clock. We got all the paint off of it mechanically. We're gonna start taking the panels off, get the hood off, the fenders off, the doors off, and get the door jambs ready. We have yet to strip the inner windshield jambs. We have to take those inner A-pillar trims off and drop the front of the headliner down. So we're gonna do that too. But I just want to give you an overview of what the car looks like with the paint off of it. It's really nice. No surprises, no filler. It was just 3 layers of really thick paint. The car had its factory paint job and 2 extras. So now that we have all that off there, it's nice, clean, shiny bare metal. We're going to be using PPG VP 2050. That's a Vibrance high build epoxy primer. We'll be using 2 coats of that. We'll go in with 80, give it a light block with 80, guide coat it, reblock it with 180, and do any little repairs, any straightening. I didn't even really see any little dings. The car is really, really nice. So before we get this car into primer, Victor asked us if we would roll the fender lips on this thing for him so he can fit a wide tire up in here. And we'll show you guys the process on this real quick. As you can see, this car has really, really nice quarter lips. So I'm sure there's some Supra purists out there that are gonna be upset about this, but that's too bad. It's not their car, it's Victor's. So we're gonna strip these lips to bare metal, and what we're using for that is one of these orange stripper wheels. And this doesn't remove any metal, it just removes paint. So we're gonna strip all this to bare metal, and these wheel well lips are double paned, which means the quarter panel is wrapped around to the inner structure and it's spot welded, which makes these extremely difficult to move. So we're gonna have to take some heat and take our Eastwood rolling tool and go through and roll these lips a little bit at a time, putting heat on it to keep it from warping. And we'll take you guys along as we do that. So here we go.
Don't worry about, don't speak about. Turn your head now, baby, just spit me out.
First round of primer on the Supra. We got the blow up booth up. This is what we use on the body shop side to spray this VP 2050 because it's super thick and it makes a mess, and we don't want it clogging up the filters in the nice booth next door. So we try to do the majority of our priming in this blow up booth. Works really well. But we got this thing masked off. There were a bunch of dents down here from people shutting the seat belt and the doors over the years. So we got that repaired. We have all the windshield, all the glass channels stripped to bare metal. You can see all the factory spot welds there. We have this thing masked off. I'm gonna put 2 coats of VP 2050 on it. As you can see, we did not strip the jambs. The jambs only have the factory paint on them still. So no need to strip them and add a bunch of layers of high build primer. We're just gonna go straight into color on those, but all the faces of every panel strip, prime, block paint. And bring you guys with me here as I start spraying some primer. Here's our VP 2050 high build epoxy direct to metal. So we're gonna mix up a full cup of this. This is 2 to 1 to 10% if you want to, but we're just gonna do straight 2 to 1 because we want the millage. It helps if you take the lid out of here.
Why follow me to higher ground?
All right, that's our 2 coats of VP 2050 on the shell. Now this thing can move into body work. But what's gonna happen before we start the body work is, after a little bit of convincing with Victor, I'm gonna bring this thing back up to his shop, and his guys are gonna spend the day and pull this engine back out of this thing. I just can't sleep at night knowing that we're gonna paint this whole car so beautifully and we're not gonna spray this engine bay. So I'm gonna have Victor pull the engine out of this thing and take some tape and mark up all the holes that they know they're not gonna need anymore, and we're gonna weld them shut. We're gonna body work and paint this engine bay super nice for them. And this is about to be the nicest Baltic Blue car on the planet.
Spit me out.
I want to give a little blocking and first round of body work tutorial on this car and show you kind of why we do what we do. So when we go to bare metal and we do our first 2 coats of this VP 2050, it's a really high build hybrid epoxy. And we block it with 80 our first round, and it's important that you block it with 80 because if you guys use a 320, 400, all that paper is going to do is glide over the top of this primer. It'll knock the orange peel out of it, but it will not cut it flat. So you take an 80 grit, or a piece of 80 grit on a flat block, and you block this primer until it starts to shadow. And what I mean by that is you can start seeing the bare metal coming through in various spots. Like I said when I was spraying it, we give it a light scuff with 80 at first, then we go through and we put our powdered guide coat on. Then we come back through and re-block it with 80, and that'll show us all of our lows. And this is all icing in here before everyone freaks out and thinks we're filling it full of mud. We're not. This icing, you can kind of see through it, it's starting to shadow as well. This icing is actually thinner than the 2 coats of the 2050 that we put on here. So we went through, fixed all the spots that the guide coat showed. The guide coat was showing was low. Stuff like this, people banging up against the car, could be as something as leaning against it. We talk about elbow prints all the time in the top of the front fenders when people are working on these things. This sheet metal is not thick, it's very thin. You know, a decent 200-pound person with a bony elbow will put a dent in this car very, very easy. So guys, please be respectful of these people's cars when they're out and about. Don't lean on them if they're not yours. Takes a long time to get these things straight. I did put a thin layer of icing across the wheel well arch, and even though, as you saw in the video earlier, we used heat and we used every precaution possible to not warp these things, that Eastwood tool will still put a little bit of a wave in it. So we went through and blocked it. We put a thin coat of icing through here to straighten it back up and sharpen the body line. And now what we're gonna do is guide coat this thing and hit it with 180 before we put 2 more coats of this 2050 on here. And that's gonna just really ensure that everything's straight. And I left an unblocked spot so you guys can kind of see. If you see that dark spot, that's where the powdered guide coat is sticking and saying that that's a low. And that could be a panel stamping mark from when this thing was new. And what you usually can do is cross hatch this stuff out of here. see what that's done is it's used the primer to block that spot out, because this stuff is so thick. There's no need to spread mud all over this whole car. When you see people strip these things and they coat the panels in icing top to bottom and block them, that is an effective way to get them straight. But if it's on top of bare metal and you get this thing out in the sun, it'll shrink, it'll move around, and you'll start seeing waves. And not only that, but the filler is susceptible to having water underneath it, and then you'll get the blistering. So absolutely put epoxy down on top of bare metal, do all your body work on top of the epoxy, and then sandwich it with another layer, and it has nowhere to go. It's locked in. So we're gonna go through and re-guide coat, block with 180, and get another 2 coats on the roof, both quarter panels. And then this thing's gonna go back and see Vic for a day, and I'll take you guys along when we do that, and you'll see why. VP 2050 round 2. We got the car back up in the air, masked off again. All the little spots that we didn't like are fixed. We got the wheel wells rolled. It's kind of hard to see, but they are rolled flat just how Victor asked us to. We're gonna get another round of primer on this thing tonight before we go home. And then we'll move on to round 2 for the hood, doors, fenders, and the hatch. Good morning, everybody. It's a chilly 43-degree morning here in Fort Myers. We've got the Baltic Blue Supra loaded up. We're heading to see Victor at Induction Performance this morning in Tampa. He's gonna get this engine bay stripped for us. Let's go see Victor.
I was just explaining how what was supposed to be just paint the exterior of this thing and move on has turned into quite a bit more.
It has.
So we're going to remove the engine and all the stuff from the engine compartment so you guys can paint the engine bay as well.
Yep. If you want some holes shaved, there's stuff that's not
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
be
mark
there.
off some holes,
Yeah.
and we'll cut a hole. Well, man, you see, this is the problem.
Here we go. Here we go.
So I was literally telling the guys yesterday that you're going to make it so nice that I'm going to end up having to build it.
Yep.
And if we build it, we'll put a forward-facing intake manifold. We'll have to cut a hole and relocate the battery. So I really need to make up my mind on that pretty soon.
It just got made.
We'll see. So how's it going so far?
So good, yeah. 1 week as of today, remember?
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
week ago, you dropped it off. We stripped it to metal, got it through its first round. This is VP 2050. This is super thick hybrid epoxy that we put direct to bare metal. I did an initial block with 80. We rolled the lips like you asked for, and then this is the second round. So this one will get blocked with 180, and any tiny little scratches, imperfections, we'll catch them, and it'll get final primed with a urethane K38. That gets wet sanded, and we go directly into color. So there's still one more round of primer to go, and now that we found out that the jams weren't actually factory paint, that the tape pulled their paint.
Nice. Yep, that's a nice touch.
So now we're gonna go through, pull the strikers, strip the jams, but we gotta strip around these VIN tags.
Yeah, we gotta
So
make sure we protect those.
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we definitely want to preserve those because it's a very rare car. Hardtop, Baltic Blue, original wingless, turbo car, etc. So we definitely want to preserve all of that. But man, the thing looks.
There was no filler in this car anywhere.
Yeah,
Just
body was
just 2 extra paint jobs that it didn't need to have. But
somebody
yeah.
had a really nice car. They probably left it outside. The paint probably faded. They're like, oh, let's take it to whoever.
Yeah.
And then, oh, let's take it to Mako.
Right. Here we are. There was just a couple imperfections in here.
I remember there were some dings
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. Nothing deep. Nothing deeper than 1/8 of an inch.
So
and-
literally, you pulled the tape off.
Yeah, that was like a piece in there. So yeah, pulled their paint. This is the factory door jam paint right there. So we're gonna strip that. I already did all of the window areas.
See, I got all that.
Yep, all down into here.
Stuff off.
So it'll have only 1 round of urethane when the glass goes back in,
Yep.
just like it would have had from the factory. And then yeah, if you guys want to mark off with tape or a Sharpie any holes that you want welded, we'll weld them, fill them, prime the engine bay, and make it sweet.
So you're pretty invested in this project, so I'm gonna let you make the final decision. Are we supposed to build this thing, or are we supposed to just make it really nice and stop?
You have to build it now.
You have to build it.
You have to.
Dang it. All right. Well, I have some ideas, some things that I've always wanted to do on a Supra that I haven't done, that we've never even done here at the shop. So I guess this would be a good car to do it with. Man, you just created a lot of work for us. So we got to get to work. We got to come up with what the setup will be for this car, order all the parts, and get it going. And then we got to strip this thing. So we'll take the engine, transmission, all that out, all the wiring, the brake, the ABS lines, the brake stuff, all that out, and give you a blank slate to paint. And I guess we got to build it. How crazy do we got to go crazy?
I mean,
it's going to be worth it, though.
And now that you said it, everyone's asking about the list race. It still exists. We're still on it. So if this is going to be the list race car,
no, that wouldn't be fair to you guys. Because if I build this thing the way I want to build it, it'll be too
well, you got to do something about cameras. So if this is the answer to that,
oh man, these fenders are really nice.
Yeah,
these are rolled real nice.
You feel up in there.
Yeah, smooth.
Self-esteem feeling.
Yeah, but
I
it's
don't want
smooth.
to do that until the final round of primer.
I like that.
Yeah,
super smooth. Okay, well let's get this thing unloaded and strip it. I think like a day or two. We'll get it right back.
Yeah, probably. You have it back to us next week.
Yeah, like Wednesday we'll bring it.
We're gonna work on the doors, fenders, hood, and hatch while it's gone and get.
Oh, I got a really nice front lip that I want to give you to put on this thing.
All right.
And then I have to debate. I'm having an internal debate. I want to put my hood scoop on. So not everybody's a fan of it. It's like the most polarizing modification you could do to a Supra. But in Europe, they have this what I think is a really cool hood scoop in them.
Okay.
And I actually have a brand new one from Toyota with all of the stuff that goes with it. And I've just been dying to put it on something.
Is it a bolt-on piece?
Yeah, so like if you look in the hood, there's 4 little holes in the middle.
Okay.
Those are the holes that it bolts into, and you just have to cut out, obviously, the rest of it. Maybe we even do, if I have an extra hood, we'll do 2 hoods. We'll do one with the scoop and one without.
Okay.
And then we can let the people decide.
I was going to say, if you're going to ask me to graft something into an aluminum hood, I'm going to be sad. I'm glad it's bolt-on.
No, it's bolt-on,
Right.
and it's like I said, I really, really like it. And I think when it's done well, you have the right wheels, and like the right stance, and the right lip, like all the things to go with it. It looks good.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do that too. I guess I'm gonna have to just start. I have to accept that we're gonna fully build this thing and just make it an absolute.
Well, as soon as you said you were gonna build the engine even a little bit, I'm like, we have to paint the engine bay. Like you can't. We have to.
All right, so we'll do that. I have a brand new dashboard for it and all the dash panels. Maybe we'll do the 8 HP trans.
That'd be really cool.
Maybe we'll do something.
Has that been done yet?
Yeah,
in
people
one
have
of
done
these?
them. People are doing them. We have a couple in the shop that we're doing right now. Alpha has tuned a bunch of them.
Cool.
And they are pretty badass, but we haven't done like our own in-house build around the 8 HP. And I have a really cool idea.
All right.
All right, well,
Good deal.
We'll get this thing unloaded and get to work.
Like if we were just doing a scuff and shoot, fine. But we're doing a strip to metal, like gangster paint job in this thing, and the bay needs to be sweet.
Them quarters are smooth.
Yeah.
They ought to be.
Yeah. 2 rounds.
5. Almost.
We're gonna get it. I can feel it.
We're gonna take that one off a lift. That one's done actually. Put this one on and get it stripped.
Awesome.
This is a pretty cool one too. Show you a little bit of this kind of stuff we do. So this one's painted. We're just mocking stuff up and doing some different finishes and trying to figure out what we want to do for final stuff on it. This one will be very, very nice. It's got, I mean, we've replaced literally every single part of this thing. Like Subframes were refinished and restored. All new hardware, every single place you could do it. New Brembo big brakes, custom wheels, you name it. This is a 3/4 stroker engine. It was actually a brand new cylinder head and brand new block from Toyota. So this will be a really cool one when we're done with it. That's Matt's car. We're doing an 8 HP on it.
Oh, cool.
We were just waiting on some parts to come. So once we get the 8 HP done on that, that'll be like our test bed for it. Alpha is tuned a couple, but you know, we'll kind of perfect it. And then I have a plan. I'm not going to share it yet, but I have a plan for that car. I'm going to make it really, really cool.
That's gonna be awesome.
We'll let you drive it when it's done. Tell us how you like it.
You know, I was gonna tell you the other day, I've driven a ton of fast stuff, like a couple different Lambos, I had 9/7 Hellcat, all that stuff. Terminators. I've never drove a Supra, not stock or built.
We're going to ruin you because the first one you drive is going to be absolute animal.
I'm excited. That'll be cool.
I'll tell you off camera, but it's going to be a very cool build.
All right. Using this engine bay as an example, we were just talking outside. If you want, assuming you want it to be glossy, we're not trying to replicate.
Yeah,
the
no,
matte.
we'll do. If we're painting it, we'll paint it so it'll be cleared to match the outside of the car.
And OEM plus on seam seal. Like you want stuff seam sealed and
Yeah.
wiped smooth.
Yep.
Okay.
And there'll be a couple of holes we'll have you block off, and then
Okay.
we'll make a hole here because the intake we'll do on that car will come out this way.
Okay.
Like, I'll show you.
All right.
And that should be that should be it. Then like we'll get a new firewall pad for it, and just all little miscellaneous stuff.
You're pulling the booster and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll pull when we give it to you.
Fair.
Everything will be out of it.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
It'll be ready to paint. We've done it before.
Steering.
Yeah.
Steering shaft
So
would be nice.
we'll leave the shaft.
Yeah.
And you can either tape it or just disconnect it.
We'll
but
probably
we'll leave that
disconnect it and drop the struts so the towers are full paint, and then put them back in.
Yeah, and we like to do that because it's easier than paint or taping off the subframe.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it in a way that you can just loosen that and drop it.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
It's cool. Straightforward.
Yeah, I want it to be really nice.
All right, cool.